right, everybody. Welcome to the season finale here live at Los Compadres. It is the Lake Show. My name is Sam Torres. I'm here with the head ball coach, Terry Henton. We've got a full belly after a really good nachos and quesadilla and birria tacos. Man, I am going to miss that on Wednesdays for absolute sure.
I don't know what to do next Wednesday.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, just absolutely phenomenal food down here. I want to take a point before we get this show going. To send a special thank you to the Navarro family, Luis and Marisol, as well as the entire corporation of Los Compadres for hosting us here and bringing this Lake Show to life this year and taking a chance on this show. And I think it's been very fun. It's been, I know I've had a lot of fun talking to Coach Terry as well as the various Lakeside Dragons throughout the year. But what it does more than anything is it shows the community touch that Los Compadres has right here in Ashtabula County. This is a company that is always involved wherever they can be, and this is just another instance of it. I know myself, I am very, very thankful for being able to come here and eat absolutely delicious food in a wonderful environment, and I get to talk to my boy Terry Henton each and every Wednesday.
Oh, yeah. Food is probably better than the conversation. But I'll take the food. I take the food.
Yeah, So we'll bring up. We're going to start right off the gate. We'll talk about this year in review as, you guys finish 4-6 this year. Not the record you wanted, but not the worst record either. You guys found it and found a way. Going through some of these, start off hot with a win over Eastlake North, and then a little bit of a struggle. But you guys finished the year going 3 for 4. Right here in the county, winning home essentially. Going 3-2 in the CVC Lake, including wins over Edgewood, Conneaut, as well as Jefferson. So the rivalry games under the belt this year. Some very, very good teams who just happen to be playing again this week against each other are responsible for your 2 conference losses. As you look through this schedule, what are some of the things that actually stick out to you throughout the year?
A lot, but the scores or that right there, what's on the screen, isn't what I think about. But when I'm looking at that, the biggest thing is the last 5 minutes of the West G game. Mm-hmm. That sticks out a lot as a coach. If you could have anything back, that would be the one. We were up. One of the most amazing plays we've seen.
Oh, we're getting to that. We're getting to that. This is a review show, baby. We ain't letting none of that go.
Right. Just an amazing play. 4 minutes and some odd seconds left in the game. And not only do we give up one touchdown, we give up another in that last 4 minutes and 50-something seconds.
I'll tell you what, Coach, I'm going to break into you right now. All right. You brought it up. I was saving it. You pulled it out. We got to talk about that one because to this day, we're going to turn our volume down because I almost lost my vocal cords on this play right here. Set here for West G. Hand off to Katz. Katz is going to the corner. He's met by a group of defenders led by J. Anthony Williams, who stole the ball. He pulled it out of his hands. Oh, my God. He's at the 20. Can he get there? Can he find it? He does. Oh, my God. It's like Maurice Claret all over again. J. Anthony Williams. I promise you, folks, you won't find another play bigger than that one on the network tonight. I mean, just stuff like that. You know what I mean? The game doesn't end the way you wanted it to, but still to this day, it's something that'll live with me forever and ever.
Oh yeah, that memory will outlast the last 5 minutes. But as a coach, that's what sticks out most. I can't say most, but that was one of the biggest things of the season where. When you really truly believe in the ebbs and flows and how things can change in an instant. If your foot is on the gas, you can't take your foot off. You can't be too high, you can't be too low. And that was a great teaching moment that I wish I never had to take. But that was a class I didn't want to take, but we got a grade from it. We went on, we learned our lessons, we licked our wounds, and tried to figure it out as the season progressed.
Yeah, and then, we move on from that West Geauga game. You go into the Jefferson game, and we talk about, a moment that maybe is a little bit better, a much easier one to recall where, it's a 21-20 win in a hotly contested game. A game that started off with one of the area's most electric players in Cage Bozar doing what he does, and that is starting it off hot, a huge kickoff return for a touchdown. You guys dust yourself off, and a guy who's going to be on the show later in this one really had himself a night that night.
Oh, 100%. But if you watched Devin this season, that. I don't want to say normal because it's not normal what he does, but that was he became one of the 100 guy for in 4 games. He was 100 guy. So he found it, like I said, over and over again. He found out what he was good at, and he excelled at it. So I don't take anything away from Cage whatsoever. That was an amazing play. Cage is an amazing player, one of the best players in our area. One of the fastest, if not the fastest, has a track record. He's been around for years and been showing it. Obviously, he broke all the records at Jefferson. There's been some good athletes that have gone through that. So I don't take anything away from him, but I got a guy. I got a guy.
And you talk about that. This schedule is packed with teams that absolutely have athletes galore. I mean, you talk about a Hawken team that goes 8-2. Geneva, who went 9-1 this year. Madison with an absolute cannon quarterback. Throwing the ball. West Geauga had some guys who could get out there and get busy. Edgewood with guys like the Pope, Josiah Pope.
Yeah.
But you always went into Fridays believing that your athletes could get the job done.
100%. I don't even know how to go into a game any other way. Because it's the amount of hours that I put in during the week as an individual outside of coaching the kids, but the film study, the game planning, the yeses and the nos, or you're stupid, that was dumb, all those things. Yeah, by the time I get to Thursday, I think if we do this, we should be able to win this game. I don't know how you would ever look at a kid before the game and say, hey, we're just gonna go out there and we just
try to keep it close.
I don't know how to talk like that. So yeah, every Friday we had. Every Sunday, the coaches and I came up with a game plan that we're going to talk to the kids about on Monday. On Monday we installed it. Tuesday we put the blitz packages in, and the calls, the different calls that we're going to make. On Wednesday we went at it. On Thursday we walked through again. On Friday, hey, we pre-game speech was all about this game plan, and if we do this, we put ourselves in an advantageous position. So yeah.
Did you have any moments this year where I don't think you've underestimated any of your players. I think if anything, you want more out of them. You're trying to pull the 100%. But did you have any points this year where, like, man, I did not expect to see that out of that young man?
Yeah, there's instances. There's tons of them. Like, again, I guess because I've been saying it all year, like, we put 5 people on the field and all 5 of them should get the ball. And there's times in every game, or there's times where each one of those 5 kids, 7 kids, if you think of all the substitutions, 8 kids, there's a time in at least one game when they did something I was like, whoa, that's if we can get that kid. Again, like I was talking the other week about Tyree, if I can get 15 minutes of that, we're moving places, we're doing things. So his 300-yard game against Hawken is something that I remember. Jay Anthony not only snatching the ball that game, but snatching the ball against Jefferson, and the refs messed it up. It wasn't that he did the exact same thing. Jay Anthony blocking a field goal this week with his cast. That'll stick with me. Tyree blitzing with reckless abandon and running through a quarterback. Chris Erickson is when he started to get excited, those things. Paul, when he booted the ball like 60 yards on the field, like, he was amazed that it went that far. Like, those things, like, I guess the looks that you get from kids, and I did it. Those are the things that I guess that I'm interested in more than a lot that, but I did it. It worked, coach. Those are the things that I guess I want to take with me because I haven't given myself time to reflect on the season. I'm still cleaning. I'm still cleaning that locker room, so I don't know how to answer a lot of those types of questions because I haven't given myself an opportunity to reflect yet.
Yeah, and I understand that. So I'm going to ask you, of course, another question about that. But again, the beginning of the season didn't start exactly how the halfway point wasn't where you wanted it to be. But you guys did find a way. Going 3 out of 4 on those last ones, including going 2-0 in your final games. Winning your final home game against your biggest rival, and then beating another county team in Conneaut, finishing 2-0. It's got to give you a sense of optimism, I would think.
Yeah, yeah. Like again, going right back to what we were saying before. Like I truly always have ultimate belief. I just hope the kids, the young men on the football team understand that, and they can build on it. It's not really about me because I believe. Like I truly I do that. But if I was to look at back, like a lot of us were doing this all for the first time, and you even when you're good, like you still need some to reflect on something and say, remember when we did, and we never had those moments until 5-6 weeks into the season. So, and there's coaching staffs like Geneva's coaching staff, Madison's coaching staff, Elijah and I were just talking about their head coach been there for 30 years.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
And
that's just the head coach.
Yeah,
I mean, you've got a century of coaching in some of these places.
So a rookie, me, like, yeah, I truly believe I'm going to be that guy, But when you get into this world, like, these are you have respectable coaches, and you have to respect the craft and understand that they've forgotten more than what you know right now, and they can help you. And it's not those are the things that you just got to humble yourself and understand. Like, like, I got some answers, and I think I'm good at what I do, but there's so much more to this game that I have to get better at. And every Friday night, a coach across the sideline shows me like, oh, I didn't know I could do that. I didn't know that. So,
well, your coaching career it's a lot like kind of growing up as a kid. Even a lot of the times the major growth steps happen really early on. And you might not really notice them or recognize them as they're happening. But, if I had to ask you right now, what do you feel like was the biggest growth that you got after year one, where Terry's the one who gets the credit for the losses and the players get credit for the wins?
Yeah, but I've always been like that. No matter where I've coached, I'm the first one when the arrows start shooting, I'm the first one to stand.
Well, I'll say in the publication.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, yeah, my name is on the door. But what have I learned from it?
Yeah, what would you say was your biggest growth this year? I guess in general, is it what have you learned, that sort of thing? Like obviously you're still pretty. The sweat is still in the locker room.
Yeah. So again, that goes back to me. I don't know yet for say, but what crosses my mind right now is halftime. Like, all the things that you think about when you're applying for the job, when you're going through the season, when you're doing this and you're doing it, you don't really remember how you're supposed to do halftime.
Yeah.
So as the season went on, I hope I got better at halftime because I was emotional at the beginning of the season, very emotional because I wear my heart on my sleeve, especially when I'm near the white lines. So, and I learned that I couldn't pass my emotion on. I had to pass on the message. So that helped me. But what helped me is walking into the visitors' locker rooms when I was at home games, when I went over there to lock the door sometimes. And I'm like, man, there's the game plan right there. They left it on the board. This is what they're doing at halftime. I'm in here yelling and screaming, and I'm doing all these things. But look, these coaches that I respect, they're at halftime, they're calm enough to write something on the board and say, no, this is what we need to do. So just walking over to these locker rooms pushed me ahead 10 games, I think, because I would see that and it stopped me in my tracks. Like, you know what? If coach was talking about what we needed to do that we weren't doing, and he could draw it, I had to calm down. So that's what I started, and I think we started to play better from the first 5 and the last 5, because I think I got better at halftime. So
yeah, my old partner Ryan used to say that halftime, it's really the best. It's one of the most important parts of the game, because the first half is what you worked on throughout the week, and the second half is how you're reacting to what's happening tonight, and that's where we've seen more games won and lost. You know, everybody is cool until you get punched in the mouth. You know what I mean, and how you're going to recover from that. But you had some guys this year. You got a chance to, I saw from your social media, do your first senior walkout, your first, running your first senior day. Talk to me about that and what that brought out of you.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about that. That was tough, man. That's a hard thing to do as the adult and as the leader, because I don't know, like Dabo Sweeney, he said I cry in front of anybody. I'm just not there yet.
Yeah.
But I won't say his name, but there was just a senior who we were in the midst of the walk. The guys walking 100 yards. When they walk back, we walking to them. We were in the midst of all of that, and the senior was late and literally ran out of the locker room. We could kind of see him running out of the locker room, and was kept screaming, "Am I late? Am I late? Am I late?" And fell out crying, bro. Like, there ain't nothing that brought emotions right there. Like, there.
To see that they care that much.
Can't nobody teach you for that. Can't nobody prepare you for that. And that's when you know it's real. Like, you can say it's real to you, and you can think that you're passing on a message, and you think that you got all the answers. And hey, if you just listen to me, things are going to be all right, man. But when you see a kid like break down, like fall apart, bro, like, what's the right answer right now? I don't have one. Let it be. But what if he doesn't get up? Like, all that's going through your brain, and there's 40 kids looking at you too. Like, you got to be a man. You got to, and the fact that the other seniors ran over and got him, and they started to walk, and he understood that he wasn't late. To see that, like, I ain't ready for next year.
Yeah, I mean, it's an accomplishment. These are the things I think as a coach, a lot of coaches say, I'm not coaching football players. I'm creating men. I'm creating young men. I'm creating, I'm trying to make better people. I'm not trying to coach you to be the best on Friday. I'm trying to coach you for the rest of your life.
There you go.
And it's one of those where I think it all comes together and into fruition when you start seeing that team approach and these things that you want for these kids. It's like having your own kids.
Yeah.
When you see them make these major accomplishments, yeah, it'll get to you.
And it's, you think the accomplishment is big, but when they accept it like that, that's like, I got the chills now just thinking about that moment and all the moments. You'll remember your final 10, like you remember your final 10.
Yeah.
And you'll always remember it. And that's what I got to share. I got to share that moment with those guys as a leader of the football team, and that's worth $1 million to me, man. So I don't know if I won the million next year.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of coaches out there that'll tell you. I would venture to say that I don't think that'll ever get easy. I recognize and appreciate. I think that you, as a coach, I think coaches in general, I don't think people recognize the sheer amount of time, effort, and love that gets put into these kids.
Right, like that senior night, man. Like, I don't even like to talk about myself. But the senior night was standing on the field, and to hear so many of those seniors say I was impactful, bro. Like, I don't know. Again, those are things that you can't prepare for, and this and that. I'm like I heard one person say my name, and it surprised me. Like, it just took me off guard 100%. And then another kid said it, and another kid, and another. Like, it took me so far back. Like, I was gone. I was in, like, the that tunnel you see on TV. You're like a mile down that thing, and everything looks this big. Like, I was there for 10 minutes. Like, I literally was gone. Everything sounded like Charlie Brown to me. Wah, wah, wah. Like, that's when you know you're on the right path.
Yeah.
Because some of those kids who who said my name, those are the ones that felt my wrath the most. You know? If anybody's out there trying to mentor kids, man, preach the standard, because when it's all said and done, that's what they want. And again, I say it a lot, I'm like you said, we're here to teach them how to be men, with the brain and all those things, and
or women, as the first time ever.
And she's over there too.
Yeah, we've got our first time ever all team second county female football player, Evelyn Stein.
Beautiful thing.
Going out there, a young lady that went out there the first time ever kicking for a football team, and she comes out there, does a phenomenal job. And you guys are breaking barriers. You guys are creating a new standard and changing the line. And how cool was that?
That's it's one of those ear to ear smiles. Like, you didn't do anything about it. You didn't do anything. I didn't do anything to create this. But she just owned who she was. To the point that one game she tried to make a tackle. So this is when you knew she was growing. This is when you knew, and then, she's a soccer player. She's a soccer player first. She's a great soccer player. But when soccer season was over, she didn't just come on Thursdays to kick. I'd start a meeting and I'd look around the room and there she is in the back with her shoulder pads on, pants on, ready to practice. That's when, again, those are moments that you won't ever forget.
I will tell you this, Terry. What I noticed this year, your very best blocking happened on bad snaps where she was supposed to extra kick.
Oh, yeah.
Hit the extra point. Because those young men treated it like that was their little sister, and you would have had to drive a bus to get to her because nobody was getting close.
Oh, yeah,
and that was cool.
They love her. They love that. No, don't get nowhere near it. If she just gets bumped into, it's a problem. It's a problem.
So Lakeside lineman next year, just pretend every play that Evelyn is back there kicking,
and you guys it a quarterback. I make it a quarterback. We got the best line in America.
Yeah, it was something. It was very, very cool. I had mentioned it to one of my other broadcasters. I said, "Man, look at that! Those guys would have 10,000 yards rushing if that's what it was always like."
Right? Maybe. Hey, why didn't you tell me that earlier?
Let's talk a little bit about your stat leaders this year. There's a lot of names on here to talk about, and one we're going to talk about with more in depth here coming in just a little bit. It'll definitely be Miller time, but Tyree Anderson with the tackles this year, that was a really cool thing. I think this was a young man you saw chasing after that number one spot. He did the work he needed to get done on Friday and ends up in that number one spot. And the interception total, we finally have one name, as Czar Triplin breaks the tie, making it 2 on the year. But the one I want to talk about here is Omar Ambras. So 1,218 yards, 10 touchdowns for a first-year varsity quarterback. That's got to feel good as a head coach, from what started in July to where we are here at the end of October.
All credit goes to Omar. He takes the most from anybody. I'm on Omar at every play, but he's grown through it. Props to him. No one believed in him. No one thought, the one thing that everyone said, you need a quarterback. You need a quarterback. You need a quarterback. Omar was like, I am the quarterback. I am the quarterback. I am the quarterback. And we had our growing pains, all those things. Every coach has, obviously. But Omar bought into what we were trying to do. It took him a while. It took the team a while. The receivers need to understand that every passer wasn't going to be perfect. I have to go get it. He understood that the receivers aren't going to be in a perfect spot. Sometimes I got to throw it to him. That took us a while. He'd give away a few every once in a while. I'm glad that part of it isn't on the screen, but
calculated, my friend. Calculated.
But the thing about him though is, for a first year starter on varsity, he's under 200 yards away from the school record.
Which is, and you told me this, I want to say in week 9 was when you had let me know, that was a possibility. And to me, that is the most incredible part in this, because, this was a young man that through the first 3 weeks really struggled.
Yeah, he only played it a half.
Yeah, I mean, going into week 5, we're talking about a kid who had about 460 yards. And to end the year 200 yards shy of the all-time, record here at Lakeside, who is a school that has had some very good quarterback play, is incredible.
Yeah, he just again, our offense is find the grass. Our offense is we got 5, let's use 5. And he started to understand that part of it. Like, I can't have a favorite person. I can't think when I call to play, hey, I'm throwing this to so and so. No, it's where's the most grass, and somebody's gonna run into it. And once he started to get that, and when our running game started to get better, it was easy for us to pass. And vice versa. When the passing game got better, it was easier for us to run. They couldn't put 8 in the box anymore. So and that's our job. That's our job. Equal opportunity offense. Push them out of the box, pull them into the box. It's my job to figure if they got 8 in the box or 6 high. So and we make our decision from there.
So you guys, obviously you had a successful year, I would call it, in passing. I know in 2005 when I was playing, if you threw for 1,200 yards, you'd probably be top in the state. But, we live in a different time. But you guys had a running back field that was very special as well. Whether you're talking about Devin Miller, J. Anthony Williams, or Nate Bartone. One of the things we talked about at the beginning of the year was all 3 of them are very, very good running backs in very different ways.
100%. They would all be 1,100, 1,200, 1,300 rushers if they were in the backfield by themselves. But being in the backfield with all of them, you have to, as a coach, it's almost an embarrassment of riches, and then you don't know what to do with it a lot of times. You go through the game, and one of the things that in my coaching style is I don't really make substitutions. It's a dog eat dog world. It's alpha male first, and those guys learned that. And they got into that. They understood that. So there's times where they understand, hey, I'm not in this rotation. I'm not even going to push myself. It's not me. So having all 3 of them and me not being the person who says, I need you now, or this is you, this is them knowing it, it made it a little bit easier.
So was that was something that was kind of organic that they figured out amongst each other?
Yeah, but Bartone zone was the Bartone zone.
Yeah, the Bartone zone was real.
But it took Devin about 3 weeks. It took about 3 or 4 weeks to say, yeah, that's his. But but other than that, like, it was just, I want the ball now. I'm going in, and then Jay, Anthony, and Devin being able to play at the H, they gave you the ball in different opportunities, different ways. And then that's what I had to learn how to do with these guys. Like, okay, I can't promise you 25 touches, but I can promise all of you guys 12, 8 to 15 touches. And I don't know how you're going to touch it, but I can promise you after week 4 or 5, I was like, okay, this is how I have to do it. We have to get you this touch, this touch, this touch. If the offense was working against Madison, the offense wasn't working. I don't think we only had 40 something offensive plays. So, but for the most part, it was just, it's an embarrassment of riches where, like, everybody thinks it's easy to do. Like, all you gotta do is no, bro. Like, because when you have this idea, Devin has an idea that he wants the ball, and you're thinking, oh, that was.
And I don't know that you want anybody on your team that doesn't want the ball. I mean, that's just the God's honest truth. But a great senior walkout we talked about. But you have a very talented junior class, and after year 1, as you get ready to prepare for year 2, hopefully you take about 20 minutes at the end of the year to take for yourself, because I know you're not going to stop very, very long. What are some things that you're really optimistic about year 2 as the Dragons head coach?
There's so many of them talking about the weight room already. That we saw it. We saw it. It's evident. The games that we were smaller, we didn't. Those are the games that we didn't win. The games that you were about our size, we were in all of those games, and if not won them. So we know the difference in winning football and playing football is the weight, the strength. It's not the weight. It's the strength. If you're 170 or 160 and you can bench 300 pounds, again, it's about pushing somebody off of you. So if you can't push 255, how are you going to push 255?
Yeah, when it's coming at you.
Right. So those are the things that we have to preach in off season. So I guess that's what I'm most excited about. we got a lot of sophomores, a lot of freshmen. I mean, we don't have a lot of sophomores, but we have some important pieces to the cog in the sophomore class. Huge freshman class. Hopefully, our freshman signing day for these upcoming 8th graders brings us a lot more kids. So I think we're moving in the right direction.
Yeah, I agree with you. And this is, I think it was a phenomenal first year for you. You got to get the ups and downs, and I think you dealt with it very, very well. Finding some plays and finding some effort in these young men when everything was down, and you guys never seemed to quit, which I think ultimately is a test to you. So,
thank you.
But we're going to go to our first break, and when we come back, we're going to talk to the Dragon Player of the Year. It's Devin Miller, leading the team in receiving, leading the team in rushing, punt returns, couple big hits, you name it. Devin was doing it. What, before you go, what do you got to say about this guy?
He's just he's ultimate belief in the work. He hits the weight room. He does all the stuff that's behind the scenes. And he wants to be better. He's coachable. So when you tell him to do it, he's coachable in the second half. First half, he wants to do it his way, and then he'll realize, no, that it didn't work. And once you see it, once you talk to him about it, he can see it. He can slow his mind down. He's a coach's dream. I got a few of those guys, but he's one of those guys that's just a coach's dream, that he's just going to do what you ask until it doesn't work. I can go on and on about him.
And the beauty is you got 10 more with him.
There you go. Nah, we got more than 10. I'm speaking into existence.
At least 10.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, we're going to go to our first break. When we come back, we'll be with our Dragon Player of the Year, Devin.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local, independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsuranceSolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
The feeling when my hands are on the piano, it's become comforting. It's somewhere that I can express myself. I go to Youngstown State University and my passion is playing music. YSU is allowing me to take what I love and turn it into a career and do it every single day of my life. I'm Alyssa, and I'm Hawaiian proud.
My guy keeps it 100% of the time. He wants all 100, won't settle for 99. And it's more than stats, because there's people in those numbers. And I was one of the lost sheep. I'm so glad he cares for all 100. I'm 100% safe, 100% free, 100% love. I can be 100% me. He gave all 100 when they put him up on that tree. That's 100% passion for 100% free. So if I play in front of 100, or if I play in front of 2, there's an audience of 1 getting 100% of what I can do.
All right, everybody. We are back with our final player of the week, and this one is a little bit more special. It is our player of the year. And Devin Miller, I think this is an award that you very much earned. Week in and week out, you found a way to make things happen. 78 carries, 711 yards, 7 touchdowns rushing the ball, 28 catches, 466 yards, 4 touchdowns there. You had 38 tackles. You had an interception. You had 1,470 yards total offense this year because you were a demon on the special team side of things as well. What was going on this year? How do you feel about the year as a whole?
This year is definitely a lot more different than last year, because last year I was more used to, running the ball. Never really played slot or anything, receiver. I mean, I was on kickoff, punt, all that stuff, but this year definitely a little bit different, especially knowing that I was going in at receiver, getting some touches there instead of just running and running and running.
Well, yeah, and then on the defensive side of the ball too, you kind of I don't know if you ended the year at defensive back, but I know at times you got pushed back to defensive back from the linebacking spot. What was that like playing, in 2 very different positions?
It was just more of me understanding and learning that position. So then, like, especially during summertime, like when we were doing 7-on-7s, traveling, playing from linebacker or going to corner, then seeing those get different skilled, like seeing those different teams on how they play, just not even just like being on defense, playing linebacker, like me on offense, watching these other teams, how they play, how they move. So especially when we went out to Atlanta, seeing how those corners or linebackers would move and scan the field and what they would do, how they would talk to their team, that definitely helped a lot.
So, it was a great year of football for you. You made a way to make a play every game, whether it was offensively or defensively as a junior. After the clock hit zeros on Friday, you officially are on your way to your senior year. So what are some things that you want to make sure you're getting done before that senior year?
Definitely get a little bit faster, because there was a couple of times I let some people catch me. I didn't like that. Definitely a little bit of speed in there. Definitely want to hit the weight room a lot more, but maintain my speed. Gain weight, but don't gain bulky weight.
Yeah, don't get bulk, but get bigger. As a junior, what were some of the things within your class that you noticed? Because you guys have a very, very talented class in this junior class. You're coming back with at least 5 or 6 guys that you've been playing with for years. What are some things you're looking forward to with coming back? And now you guys are the top of the totem pole.
Hope like this year, I want them to understand that. I know I got like 3 or 2 guys on board that I know are going to be in that weight room, but there's some other players like my skilled position where, like, sincere, if that boy gains 20, 30 more pounds, he's going to be lethal. Same thing, with Matt, just not even just skilled in general. Like, I want Tyree to get bigger. I want Chris to get bigger, because the team seeing Chris come off that edge already is
that's tough. Yeah. That's tough. When Chris gets into that backfield, man, it is, and God forbid you spend too much time on him, and then you've got Big Six on the other side who's trying to ruin your day. You had some big moments this year. You made some big plays, but none really bigger than this one right here. Great. All right, they got it off, and it's Devin Miller. He's going. Another guy missed him. He's at the 40. He's at the 30. He's at the 20. He's at the 10. Lakeside Dragons just pulled out 80 or 78 yards to Devin Miller.
No flags on the play. Touchdown, Lakeside.
I mean, walk me through that again. I mean, this is a game against a county rival, a rivalry that is growing in intensity and every single year, seemingly. You guys are down. You get the rock. You've already made some plays. You had some tough parts of that game as well. What was going through your head?
So, I could say that I'm more of a second half player, but definitely what happened in the first quarter, I may have fumbled.
I'll let you say it, not me.
I may have fumbled the ball, and I just came out understanding that the way that I was playing, I was still nitpicking at a few yards, but the way I was playing wasn't meant like how we were supposed to play. What we were going through at practice, like I wasn't doing anything that I was supposed to be doing. But then once I understood that, like, I can play this game, but I can playing it with my team instead of playing it by myself, like understanding that I have to stay here and wait here, then go, instead of just run, because that's not gonna work the whole time.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, and that's just one of many. I mean, he had quite a few plays this year. You know, you look back to the Hawk and just watch the intro of the show. He's on there a couple times already. You know, where you're able to open up and you've got that second level speed and that comes from the work. You know, you're a track runner as well. So, you know, something that I assume you're going to continue to do this spring. So, going into this senior year, now you're going to have a whole new group of freshmen that are coming in. You know, you've got the guys from this freshman class that are going to be sophomores. What are you going to do to help establish the expectations of what it means and how they have to earn that green and gold on Friday?
I just want them to understand like that the freshman class this year that came up, like if any of those freshmen coming up now ask these freshmen who are about to be sophomores, like when we were in the weight room, we were lifting, but there was some times where we would play around, or at practice we would practice, but you know there was still some playing around. But this year we're not wasting that at all. So we're gonna be 100% everything we do for sure this year, because I want them to grow and understand that by time there, because I remember freshman year like it was a week ago. It's crazy. I just don't want them to, you know, be seniors looking back at their past like, dang, I could have did this or that, or we should have won this, we should have won that. You know, it's just something that we went through, and I don't want anybody else to go through that, especially coming up from here.
Well, yeah, I think if you look back at this year and you look at the games where you've won and lost, you know, some of these teams where you guys, you know, did lose, it's a true team effort, and it truly takes 11 guys doing the right thing at the same time. And unfortunately, those games are not won in August. Those games are not won in September or October either. Those games are happening. You are winning those games from January till about June. And the guys who are making the difference are the guys who are still playing this week.
Yeah.
So it really was a fun time getting to watch you go out there and play. And you know, Scout Team Player of the Year. He couldn't be here tonight due to some unforeseen circumstances. But, you know, I'm going to ask you. I didn't ask Terry. I'm going to ask you. Give me a little bit about Chris McEachin.
He is definitely someone you do not want to get mad. Chris is one of those guys where, you know, he's cool. He doesn't really talk a lot. He's more of a, like, if you don't talk to him, he won't talk to you. If you see him out in public, he's just more of a straight face, just bulldog looking guy. He's like a Rottweiler. Like, you know, he's a puppy, but you don't want to walk up to him because you don't know. But he's a lot of, like, what I think a lot of people think about him is he gets into his head a little bit, which I understand. But coming from like last year, a lot of people doubted what he wanted to do. And because last year they were saying, oh, he's not good coming off the edge or this or that. But he knows that he's a dog. I know he's a dog. He knows he's a dog. So he's just going to keep working from here. He's got a whole nother year, and I promise he's going to make that happen.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, we got to see it this year a couple times because he's another one coming off the edge, making it happen every single time. You know, how do you feel about the overall feel of this Lakeside Dragons team? How do you feel about the culture? How do you feel about the expectations?
Oh, it's great. I couldn't be more happy being around a team that I've been around my past 3 years, you know. And I mean, if you're including my coach, my past 4 or 5 years of playing football, because I've been around these guys since I started football in the junior high. You know, the senior class, those are the guys I started with. Nate and all of them started in 7th and 8th grade. I'm still glad that I have most of the players that I started with still here with us. And, you know, I don't rather end with anybody else except for them.
Yeah, I mean, how special is that? You know, the guy who really got you started truly as a Dragon, you know, at that junior high level is going to get you. See you out the door for 10 plus is what he said. Just, you know, you guys aren't built for 10 games. You're built for more. So, you know, we've got some other teams on YSN that they look at week 8 as the halfway point. So that's where you guys got to get to. Week 8, you're only halfway through your season. But I'm really excited to see where it's going to go from here. It's been phenomenal getting to watch. You're the reason why I've needed lozenges a couple times on Saturday because those big plays, I like to get excited. Man, it's been a pleasure. Thanks so much for coming on the show. I can't wait to watch you again next year. Ladies and gentlemen, for the final time this year, this is the Lake Show live from Los Compadres. One last time to thank the Navarro family and Los Compadres as a whole for hosting us here in this awesome restaurant with this absolutely delicious food. If you want true Mexican food, this is where you got to go. It's the best place I've ever eaten, and I guarantee it'll be the best place you'll ever eat as well. My name is Sam Torres for the final time. As always, folks, this is for the 440. This one falls on me. I'm sorry. I was supposed to, at the end of the show, we wanted to send a special shout out to J. Anthony Williams, going through a surgery today, in recovery, doing well.
Yes. Hopefully, we haven't gotten too many messages back from the family. But yeah, we just wanted to give them, let them know we love them. Hopefully it went well. Hopefully recover soon. That's really it, but it wasn't supposed to be like this.
That was on me. Poor planning on my part. As I do want to send, along with Coach, the best wishes out to a phenomenal young player who, played through some injury and really shows some toughness and grit, and is getting ready to get put back together. The bionic jaws coming back next year.